He's
What's
alive?
up, sir?
Yo, what's up? How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. Doing great. How was your day?
It was good, man. Fasting is tough.
Fasting is tough.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, thankfully, I have not been doing anything crazy lately in the fasting. In fact, I've been eating a lot.
Yeah. Yep, we're
So,
kind of opposite.
especially whenever you're working out hard in the gym, and then you're going home, and then you're walking past the refrigerator, it's like
Hmm.
a knee-jerk response to just whip that baby open and then eat at least 3 or 4 pounds of beef,
Yeah,
at
so
least. Uh, but yeah, man, no, I appreciate you taking the time, bro, and I think this will be fun. Basically, I'm just going to be asking you some questions, and you're going to be answering them. It's pretty much that simple. So,
100%. I'm down.
okay.
Let's get it.
Sweet, bro. Well, help me get to know you a little bit better, bro, I guess. What are some of the things that got you into looks maxing, self improvement, etc.?
So, kind of started off where I was very skinny. I was like that skinny fat, like where you're fat in some areas, skinny in some areas,
Right.
and um, just very underweight, and I hated being skinny, right? And I wanted to be bigger, so it originally started out in the gym. I
Mm.
wanted uh I wanted to get better. My brother actually has been working out for like the past 23 years. He's huge, and I
Wow.
wanted to be like him as well. So
Right.
I kind of got into the whole like gym bro mode, and I started doing a dirty bulk, and I was doing all this stuff. I started gaining weight, but then my skin got really bad, and so I kind of was trying to figure out how to stop the skin issues, the acne.
Mm.
My skin was getting dry. I was getting a lot of acne and hyperpigmentation marks, and a lot of bloating and stuff like that. So I wanted to figure out a way to, number one, keep getting bigger in the gym, but also get
Right.
skin problems. And so I started looking into a bunch of stuff, and then I got into like the bad, uh, like CeraVe, and all these like brands that supposedly are supposed to help get rid of acne and supposedly, but
Yeah.
yeah, and so ended up making it worse.
Mm.
Uh, my skin got really dry, and the moisturizer I was using, it was supposed to be a healthy one, wrecked my skin. So, um, I started looking. I was like at the bottom, and I was like wondering how can I fix this, And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I found originally I found Baby Stickley, and I saw some of his stuff, his
Yeah.
transformation. Like, wow, that's interesting. So I looked into it more, and then about I can't remember. It was a couple weeks after I was looking into the whole looks maxing movement. I didn't know how real it was. I didn't know if
Right.
people were surgeries or doing all this stuff. So, um, after a bit of looking into it, then I found your account. I followed you, started looking at your videos, and I saw like how legit it actually was.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, started going into that. I joined your community, and it's kind of just progressed from there. So
That's awesome, man. That's definitely reminiscent of my own story starting out in the gym. I think that's
yeah,
kind of like the gateway drug to self improvement,
it
right?
is.
Like
Yeah, for
once you
sure.
get started there, it goes from that to overall looks and appeal to just down the rabbit hole. So that's awesome, man. And then as far as your progress since you've joined the community, I've seen your before and afters, man. Got a little bit jealous myself. I'm like, man, I wish I got results that fast whenever I started. But yeah, man, I guess how does that look like for you, and what do you feel like have been the biggest factors in seeing that progress and that transformation?
Yeah, so of course everybody's body will has different speeds at which they react to things, right? And so I've always reacted to stuff pretty quickly. Like I could tell if like I would put something on my skin, I could tell very quickly if it was like if I was allergic to it. I've been able to tell really quickly if I'm allergic to certain foods. So my body tends to react more quickly.
Right.
Um, but also that only takes you so far. It also comes down to what you're doing and the methods you're using, right? And so started off, changed my diet. That was the only thing I started off doing. And then I was reading in your classroom, and I went through myofunctional therapy. I started doing thumb pulling. I got better tongue posture, which that helped a lot. At nighttime, I taped my mouth because I realized I was mouth breathing. I was pulling my jaw back.
All right.
Um, yeah, a lot of recessed jaw, and my palate was getting smaller from mouth breathing. And all of that type of stuff, right? So the methods I've been using, I've been doing thumb pulling today. I've been doing thumb pulling, but it's on the bottom, so I guess it would be mandible pulling.
Hmm.
But I've been doing that. I've been doing hard mewing sometimes a day, and then I mew basically when I'm not talking. So whenever I'm
Right.
just sitting there, I'm mewing. Um, and then I've also been doing things like chin tucks. I've even tried out the towel method. I bought jaw trainers.
Okay.
Like I think about like it was 2 or 3 weeks into like me discovering this thing, right? So I bought those. I've been using those kind of like as an underlying thing, um, just to help build out my jaw muscle, the masseter, and and yeah, I've been doing things like that. I've also your eyebrow squinting with resistance and all that. I've been doing.
Right. There we
Um,
go.
I started using gua sha in the morning, and I've also something I found that was really helpful for lymphatic drainage. Debloat your face was doing things like jumping jacks and different gravity to help pull that out of your face as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and then I'm trying to think. I've been taking zinc and vitamin D3, which have also I
Perfect.
think that's helped with bone density a bit. Um, and then I've changed up my workout method where before I would just do a certain amount of reps. Now I'm going to failure and I'm increasing the weight heavier. Um,
Okay. It's progressive
yes,
overload. Love to see
yeah,
it.
I'm trying to do higher intensity, which that increases testosterone. Um, and then also sprinting as well. Sprinting, like you
Mm.
said, I'll go on the treadmill and I'll just do rotations of sprinting.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, and actually something interesting about that is during this fast, I did the sprinting yesterday, and after my workout, and then so I did a workout, and then I did sprinting right after that. And after, surprisingly enough, I was not as tired as I normally am,
Mm.
which I thought that was very interesting. So because of the energy release and stuff that you get from when you're fasting, but yeah. So those are some of the methods I've been doing. There's other little ones I've tried, like the BTT method behind the teeth, where you put it behind your teeth and you pull
Right.
forward. Um, I've done a couple little ones like that. I started doing a little bit of mandible pushing, but you said that's dangerous. This, this
Well,
looks
I wouldn't
so.
say, yeah, I would say, yeah, just make sure to be careful. The last thing you want to do is dislocate your jaw trying to do something or get permanent TMJ. But yeah, I mean, it seems like everything that you have been doing has been very thought out. It seems like it's been obviously very effective, which is great. Um,
And something that I would say that has made it more effective is I've not really had a certain amount of times I do things a day. I've
right,
mainly just determination where I'm like I want this so bad, and so every single time I would thumb pull, or every single time I would remember I would do these things, right? So
right,
it's not necessarily sets and reps; it's more just every time I remember, do it.
right. Just
So.
making it a habit.
Hmm.
Absolutely, man. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just a question. This might be a rhetorical question, but I'm gonna have you answer it anyway. A lot of people think all of this kind of stuff, the self improvement. I know maybe you've bought the jaw trainers and stuff like that, but some people think they've got to dedicate all of this financial investment into the self-improvement journey. How much have you spent on your self-improvement?
Not much at all. Um,
Manage
it is food. That's the main thing.
food.
Yep, that's mainly it. Because we our bodies have the ability, like our hands, we can use our hands doing things like thumb pulling. We can use our tongue, proper tongue posture. Use your back muscles to straighten your back. You don't need a posture corrector.
Right.
And even if you don't have jaw trainers, which jaw trainers are relatively cheap, they're like $15, and you can get a pack of 4 on Amazon. But like you can even do tongue chewing, where it's
Mhm.
virtually the same thing, and also the towel method. So I don't know the exact amount, but it's definitely not much. The main piece would be ancestral food. So that
Right.
would be the main expense.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome because I think a lot of people try to find reasons to not get started, whether that's just making excuses, saying, "Oh, it's going to cost me so much money. Oh, it's going to cost me so much time investment. It's not possible. Does this work?" I've had people ask, "Does this work? Does this work? Does this work?"
Mm-hmm.
Probably since you started. And so you've already made a night and day transformation in the amount of time people keep asking, does it work? Does it work? And so that just goes to show action is always going to be inaction every single time. Uh,
100%.
the best way to find out is just to do it and then watch yourself in the mirror and
Mm-hmm.
watch it change over time.
Right.
And then obviously doing it in a safe way like you have been doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I know you've been part of the community for basically since it started, which it didn't start too long ago. I don't even
Yeah.
think it might be a month old at this point, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're already at over 2,100 members. So
Yeah. Well,
definitely, yeah, the fastest growing podcast. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get there. We'll get the fastest growing
let's
podcast, Mike. Starting today. No, fastest growing biohacking community. So I know you started towards the beginning, but how much do you think that has helped play a role
oh my,
in your journey?
it has helped so much. So, um, really, I think what a lot of people struggle with, because I know I struggle with the same thing, is when you're trying to get into the whole looks maxing, life maxing thing. Um, it's very confusing, and you don't really know what methods to do and whose advice to take. And then everybody's courses are so expensive, and so all in all, it all kind of creates like a brain fog type thing where you don't really know which direction to go, right? So,
Right.
and of course, like people have good information on just videos, but there's not really a guide, an in-depth
Mhm.
guide.
Right.
Um, and so I would say that the main key was the community and the information in there, and then also bouncing it off back and forth between others in the community,
Right.
asking you questions, and just seeing all this information that people give out. Also, the Q&As you do, live Q&As, wonderful, um, and yeah, so just all of the things that you get in the community, even just the free community, it's crazy, right? So. Because originally I was actually looking at joining Baby Stickley's community, and so his is much higher priced, especially because yours is free. But yeah, I would say that was one of the very key things. You have it all laid out in there. You have all the different, like in the classroom, you have all the different things. You have the way of vitality, like to start off, you have like one on myofunctional therapy. You have the looks maxed one where you go through every aspect: skin, eyebrows, hair, jaw, everything. So yeah, I would say the community is definitely crucial.
Awesome, man. Yeah, the goal is to make it the best biohacking slash looks maxing slash self improvement
Yeah.
community, and then also make it free.
Yep.
Like that's the goal, right? I want it to be better than the ones that people pay 30, 40, 50, 100 a month and just make it free because yeah, like you said, there is so much, we'll call it analysis paralysis, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like you're kind
yeah,
of stuck, don't know really what to do, but if it's just handed to you and it's just an entire guide, it's going to make it a lot easier to make that jump and that decision to go ahead and take action because it
right,
doesn't really, if you're wrong, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg,
right,
right?
right.
It maybe cost you, 5 minutes looking at something that's going to be quote unquote free advice, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, that's super awesome. Obviously, you've been super great and encouraging to everyone in the community, man. So definitely appreciate you, Micah, and then also just being a great example of obviously not only that methods like this work, but also just a good example in the sense of your work ethic and your determination to be successful, right? Obviously, you can have all the guides in the world and all the information, but none of that means anything unless you take action towards
100.
those things. So I think that's awesome. I think that's a great example of, like I said, exactly what you have to do in life to be successful at anything. You got to take action. So that's
100%.
awesome, man.
And funnily enough, that was one of the places I struggled the most was actually taking action in the past.
Mm.
In the past, it was always talk, 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 plan, 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 but I would never actually take the first step, right? So, it was actually interesting once I finally took the first step, right?
Mm.
And I started winning. And once you start winning, right, it changes your whole view on it, right? So,
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Yeah, it goes from doing something and then failing at it. And then most people, they fail once or twice, and then that's enough for them to not ever do it again. So,
yeah,
first
right,
step, obviously, not give up. Second step is do it until you win. And then once you win, you just keep on winning. Um,
right. Well, and I remember you said position your day where you're always winning. So that's because well, it's even on a biological level. When you win in something, your testosterone boosts and dopamine and your levels, like you get a boost, you get a surge. And so and that's why people celebrate when they win. So
right, right.
right, so it really does change a lot of things.
Absolutely, man. You gotta have that winner's mindset and that winner's lifestyle, and then it's like playing life on easy mode at that point.
100.
Just always winning. But yeah, man. I appreciate your time, Micah. It's been awesome getting to talk with you a little bit more and get to know more about your journey. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Well, okay, so I was thinking, so when fasting, right? When you're fasting, how how long should you fast? Like, should you do a fasting every week, a 24-hour with water, or then if you're doing longer fasts, like a 5-day fast, should you like how often should you spread those out?
Got you. Yeah, as far as fasting timing, as far as like a 5 day fast, I probably wouldn't do one more than once a month,
Okay.
or even maybe once every 3 months. That's a pretty significant challenge to your body. And you don't want to do it too often to where your body gets too used to it. That's going to
Hmm.
take away from some of the growth hormone effects. Part of it
Yeah.
being challenging and you overcoming that challenge is part of what is going to help you again with that hormonal benefit. When it comes
100%.
to a 24-hour fast, that's why some people do OMAD, right? One meal a day. And so basically every single day they're doing a 23 to 24-hour fast, right? Because they're
Yeah.
doing that one meal a day. So you can do a 24-hour fast every single day if you want to. You're going to be okay.
Right.
It's really hard to get all of your calories and protein and everything in one meal. So it's probably not something I'd recommend for people trying to gain weight, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, you can do that as frequently as you want. As far as, yeah, like I said, the 3 day, 4 day, 5 day fasts, that's going to be like maybe a once every 90 days deal.
Okay, okay, yeah, for sure. And then this one's a bit of a bigger question. So kind of like what was your full like story, right? So how I came in to the gym and everything. So what was kind of your process?
Yeah, man, great question. So I started in the gym as well. I just wanted to lose weight, actually. I used to weigh about 240 pounds, and I injured myself trying to play basketball because I was a bit bigger than last time I was playing basketball. So did something
Yeah.
weird, tweaked my knee, tore my ACL and meniscus. So I'm laying there in bed with an ice pack on my knee and being fat. And I was like, man, this sucks. And so I was like, well, the only place to go from here is up. This is at the very bottom. And so that's whenever I decided to start making some changes, start going to the gym, started working out at least 6 days a week
Yeah.
for, an hour to 2 hours, working out really hard. Didn't really care a lot about the quality of the food, more of just the quantity, calories, macros, the if it fits your macros strategy, or caloric counting, which did work as far as the weight goes, right? Calorie restriction is always going to be a great tool to lose weight. However, I lost a lot of muscle mass. I got not so great skin quality. I got really unhealthy just because I was going to McDonald's, going to Raising Cane's, going to Brahms, going to all these different places and just eating fried food all the time and just chalking it
Yeah.
up as protein.
Right.
And so, thankfully, I started to slowly change that, and a lot of that was due to I had a bodybuilding show. I was going to compete in a men's physique show, and so I needed to lose a lot of weight. And I also cut the amount of processed foods down and made it just whole foods. And for the first time in my life during that process, I was able to clear up my skin. I was able to fix some of my hair had psoriasis, so my hair was extra like not very healthy, and then the dry skin. A lot of that stuff cleared up, and then I got really lean, and then I noticed that being lean had way more of an appeal than being just jacked out of my mind. So after that moment, I realized that I needed to make some changes to my lifestyle to accompany being able to be more appealing, but also be able to be healthier mostly.
Right.
And just because you feel way better. Like right now, I'm able to maintain about a 5 to 6% body fat for months and months and months without
Yeah. That's
really too much trouble. My energy levels are still great. My health is still great, and a lot of that is just due to understanding my biology, understanding the quality of the food that I'm putting in my body, prioritizing healthy whole foods, like you said, the ancestral diet for me, eating more eggs, beef,
for
right?
sure.
Even some potatoes, carrots, stuff like that. So mostly root vegetables with some grass-fed beef
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
eggs, right? Uh, Even mostly going just strictly low carb too. That's also helped me out in a big way. Just focusing on the beef and eggs, a little bit of the potatoes and carrots and stuff like that on occasion. But
Yeah.
all of that considered, probably my favorite strategy for nutrition is going to be a low carb, high protein, high fat diet. Feel very good, feel very energized, be able to get that benefit of running off of ketones, and you just feel and you look amazing throughout that entire process. And it doesn't take as much effort as trying to eat carbohydrates all the time and then fight
Right.
the urges that come with that. Like for me, it's very addictive, right? So I'll eat some honey with some strawberries, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's over for me. I'm gonna be just eating so much carbs that I'm just gonna get really bloated. So, and that
Yeah.
can lead to the psoriasis flare. It can lead to some acne, some imperfections, and all that kind of stuff that I'd rather just not deal with. So,
100%.
but that whole journey took me a pretty significant amount of time uh, to understand that, and then start to implement some of the methods. And then after I got fit, I got lean. That's whenever I started to get into more of altering my facial appearance in a different way, right? Instead of just getting lean already is going to be great for your facial aesthetics, but that's whenever I started to dabble in with some, sauna growth hormone protocol, into the thumb pulling, the mewing, all of that
Wait.
stuff put
When
together.
exactly did you start that? So your journey across your journey, right? You started with the gym, and then you moved into like everything else. So how far into your journey did you really start like thumb pulling, mewing, and all the methods you teach?
Yeah, it's probably only been about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild how quickly you can change.
Yeah, no, it is because I'm kind of similar to you, right? When it comes to I do something, I'm usually able to tell my body adapts pretty quickly whether or not it's going to be something beneficial or not. So, like the growth hormone protocol in the sauna, that altered my facial appearance big time off the rip. And then the
Right.
mewing, the thumb pulling. I saw so much benefit in thumb pulling in the beginning that I actually stopped and took a big break from it just because it kind of freaked me out. Like how much of a change I saw doing the jaw exercises. My masseters grew pretty significantly in a short period of time, so I had to slow that down. Just because, like you said, kind of maybe very habitual, I'm almost obsessive with it. I'm the same
Hmm.
exact way. So yeah, especially if you have
Yeah.
that kind of mindset going into it, and you go into it with the belief that you will be successful. It's very hard not to be very successful very quickly. I would say.
Right. And also, it's crazy how much of a factor your mind is in actual physical change, right? So
Oh,
people don't
absolutely.
or people don't often associate the mindset with your outward appearance, right?
Mm,
But a simple way to think about it: if somebody in their head thinks that that they're not worth anything and that they're a nobody, right? You're going to see that in the way they walk and in the way they
mm,
look. You're going to see that in their
100%.
face. They're not standing back straight, chest out. They're not walking chin up. So it shows, right? And that's a base thing. So when you actually start implementing things like just the desire to win, right? And that you
Right.
believe that you will win at some point, that changes the effect on how your body reacts to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It all starts in your imagination for sure. And then that
100.
also plays into your behavior, right? Everything that you do is just a manifestation of how you think. So if you think
Mhm.
you're not attractive or you are hopeless or that you're completely cooked, right? There's nothing you can do, then you're not going to do anything if you don't believe there's nothing you can do, right?
Yep.
But if you believe you have potential, you believe that you can make changes, then you will act on those, right?
Hmm.
And so it all starts
Right.
with that belief, and that belief is represented in your behavior, right?
100.
So no, that's 100% right. The mindset going into it, especially going into it with a positive mindset, not a oh my gosh, I hate the way I look. Even though
Hmm.
I would say that's where most people start, you can maybe transmute some of that energy and use it in a constructive way. But
Yeah.
ideally, you want to get over into the I'm doing this because I care about my health, I care about my appearance, I care about it for a positive reason. The
Right.
sooner you can do that, the more effective and the more long term it's going to be.
Yeah, and I also think that um, a a good thing to get in for somebody who's just coming into this, right? A good thing to get in your mind would be get your health at the top priority,
Mm,
right? Your health is above everything else because, right, some of these other people they'll tell you to do different methods. They'll promote certain like things or certain supplements that are not necessarily good for you, right? Or they'll tell you just do this, this, and this, and you'll look like this. And the process they tell you, if you
mm,
look at it on a health scale, it's not good, right? Or even if for hair, if you want healthy hair, everybody's promoting Base Body Works right now. That's the big thing, right?
right,
You look at
right,
the, it's actually not good for your hair.
right.
So, um, so yeah, that was actually something that I just got off of a
Mm,
couple weeks ago. All of the mainstream hair products, and so my hair is just now healing from that, right? So
right.
my hair before, well, and still kind of is because it's coming off of that, but very dry, very flat all the time, right? And so I cut that out, and I've seen when I do certain days, right? When I shower now, I use aloe vera gel instead, pure aloe vera. I'll also use like oil and stuff. And when I put
Mhm.
the oil in, volume, right? So,
Oh, for
uh,
sure.
right. So just all in all, the methods that people, a lot of the methods people tell you out there in the wide, vast world of looks, it is they're not always the healthiest choice. And so I think if you get health above everything and the way your body's supposed to be, then you will actually have a result quicker
Oh, for
because
sure.
you get your health in order and your body can actually build these things. You get the right supplements you need, and you can actually increase bone density. You do sauna treatments, you can increase bone density, and that's all stuff that promotes health, right? So,
Right.
um, get your health better first. That is, and keep that as your number one priority. Not looking good, not like having a crazy physique in the gym. Um, just if you have your health number one, that I think
Mhm.
that is the that will promote this quicker in your life, get you to results quicker.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then you look at everyone's New Year's resolutions that statistically 95% of people have already failed this year.
Yep.
Most of them have to do with your health, right? Because everyone knows that it's the number one asset that everyone has is their health, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's like the saying where a man wants 1,000 things, but a sick man just wants one thing, and that's to feel better, right?
Right.
Um, so yeah, your health is always going to be number one. You can't do anything if you're unhealthy, if you're stuck in a hospital, right? So that health is basically the
Mhm.
freedom, right? It's representative freedom, vitality, energy, all of these things that everybody wants. And yet, year after year, people make promises to themselves that they break. It's very, very sad because it is challenging. It does take work. You can't, like you said, you can't go and just
Right.
buy health off the shelf, right? You
Right.
have to actually put in the work and the energy and make it a priority. And I think that a lot of times people are told that instant gratification is a higher priority, that their careers and their jobs and the amount of time they put towards that's a higher priority. They're always told that there's things above their health. And then they get unhealthy, and then it turns out a lot of people profit from unhealthy people. Some
Very
of
true.
the restaurants I had mentioned earlier that I frequented, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would say that's 100% right. Just focusing on your health is going to help you eliminate a lot of the extra stuff that is going to maybe not give you that best return for your time. But if you're focusing on your health and your health alone, all that stuff, like you said, is very, very inexpensive. You have to buy food anyway, so now you're just buying healthy food that's not going to kill you, right?
Right.
You
And
can focus on your better sleep, right? All
right.
these things that are just free to do.
Right. And actually, people probably spend more money on junk food because of how addictive it is than on just like regular clean food.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I definitely have some stories when it comes to speaking with people who have spent literally thousands of dollars on a monthly basis on fast food, on junk food,
Hmm.
things like alcohol, cigarettes, things like that that are actively shortening their lifespan and
Right.
decreasing their attractiveness, decreasing their health rapidly.
Another thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, I think, like you said, making health a number one priority. It's hard to go wrong and make wrong decisions.
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Very
you're
true.
just focusing primarily on that, man. So that's awesome. I'm definitely glad that you decided to make health a priority. That's kind of the goal here is to help as many people get as healthy as possible, as quickly as possible, and make those lifestyle changes that last, right? Once you get, like you said, that feeling of winning and being successful, and then you're getting healthier, more energy, getting more vitality, it's really hard to go back, if
Yeah.
not impossible.
Right.
So,
Because in that mindset of progress, and this is my because it kind of there's a switch in your brain, right? When you start giving the things to your body that your body needs, there's a switch in your brain where it's like, okay, going back is the last decision we will ever make. Like
mhm.
that's the last thing we would ever do. right? We can only go forward from here. We can only keep pushing, keep discovering, and just keep biohacking, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing of like, I guess you would like relapse into bad habits and stuff. I guess at
Mm.
the very beginning, there could be struggle with that when you're just coming off junk food and everything. But like once you're into it for a few months, there's no going back.
No going back, man. So absolutely, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, man. That was great. The like you said, biohacking. Once you get started, you can't go back. It would be almost like a just slap in the face to all the work that you had already put in.
Right,
So it's like, why would I want to disrespect myself like that?
100%.
So yeah, and it does alter your mindset as well, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes the actions that you take change your mindset before your mindset can change your actions. So sometimes you just gotta take the action and let your mindset catch up.
Yeah, man. And then it came to my mind. There's actually two more questions I have, and that I've been asked a lot, and I don't know always like 100% how to answer them, right? So number one, so many people ask me about symmetry and getting a
Mm.
symmetrical face. Asymmetry is one of the main things that like people talk about, and they'll text and they'll be like, how do you get asymmetry, or how do you get a symmetrical face, right? How do you get rid of
Right.
asymmetry? So, the main thing that I know of is just like myofunctional therapy, doing things like that. But do you have any like really like good methods? And just basically, can you explain a like symmetry for the face?
Yeah, no, great question, man. I'm not going to pretend like I know all the answers either, but I would say yes, obviously doing the myofunctional therapy. It's called therapy for a reason, right? It's going to be helping us
Right.
fix some of those bad habits that we've had, make good habits instead, and replace those.
Right.
Eliminating bad habits is the first step, because if you continue to do the same bad habits that gave you that asymmetrical phase, it's just going to
Right.
continue to get more and more asymmetrical. So, halting those things, chewing on one side of your face, sleeping on your stomach, and having your face smashed one way or the other, both of
Yeah.
those are going to be causing facial asymmetry. A lot of times, your left side of your face is going to be more in control of your expressions. So, usually, the left side of people's faces are more developed, right?
Okay.
Because typically your right side of your brain is in charge of emotions, right? So you're going to be more expressive with your emotions on the left side of your face. Which is why most
Okay. Yeah.
people, most people, they look at themselves in the mirror and they think the left side of their face is more attractive. So
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true for you, Micah, but most people, they look, they're like, man, I like the left side of my face more. That's literally just
Right.
because the left
And that's the
side.
my good side.
Exactly. That's like, oh, that's my good side. And that's because people use these muscles more, so these muscles are more developed, therefore more attractive. So if
Hmm.
you're looking to become more attractive, more symmetrical, then you want to make sure you're training each side of your face, right? I would say using unilateral exercises. And what I mean by that is the same thing with unilateral exercises in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Training one
Right.
leg at a time with some leg extensions, right? Training each arm at a side, or doing each arm individually. Let's say you're doing 10 reps over here, you're doing 10 reps over here, same weight.
Right.
Just like in the gym, let's say your left arm is weaker than your right. You don't want to be
Hmm.
cranking out more reps over here. Like, that's not
Right.
going
You'll
to,
get. I did.
yeah, you're going to be overcompensating, all these different things. It's going to cause more asymmetry in other places. Instead, you just start with this side, you crank out 10 reps, you switch over here, you do the same over here, right?
Hmm.
You want to do the same amount of weight and the same amount of reps per each side. So we're going to translate that over here to your facial exercises. You can do things like learning how to lift up each eyebrow, you know,
Yeah.
and I guess this an equal amount. Doing different facial exercises that train each side of your face. Same thing with the eye, the force squinting that you're talking about. You can do one eye at a time and focus
Yeah.
on just, it's a little more challenging, But learning how to get that mind muscle connection on each side, train each side separately but the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
You do that for an extended period of time, it's going to help you with that. When it comes
Yeah.
to maybe actual like facial bone stuff, like your bones are jacked up, a lot of times you might need some orthodontic work. Uh, Sometimes, right, depending on how bad it is.
Right.
But if you're still in the development stage, you're still younger, then most of that can be remedied through proper myofunctional therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, training your facial muscles, it's just a direct correlation to attractiveness is more developed facial features. So you might as well
Right.
do that.
And
Um,
something I'll add is, like you said, when you're in the developing stages, if you work out the muscles in your face when you're still in the developing stages, that would even pull your muscles to the way they're supposed to be, because your muscles, what are they? Your muscles and tendons, they have tension. They pull tension on them.
mm,
So, and what's the basis of thumb pulling, mewing, and all these things? It's putting pressure and tension on the bone to move it, right? So
absolutely.
I would even feel like the muscle in your face, when you work out the muscle in your face, it would build out your bone structure, it would help shape it as well.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Just like if you're training your arms in the gym, your bone density is going to get bigger in your arms too, along with your muscle mass, right? So it's the same thing there. But yeah, that's going to be what I would recommend anyone who is struggling with that. The second thing would just be to reassure them that everybody's face is asymmetrical. Okay,
Yeah,
you can't find a
right,
single person on the planet that has a perfectly symmetrical face.
right.
And yeah, actually, if you look up pictures of people's faces that are perfectly symmetrical, there's a mirror and image. It actually looks pretty funky and a little bit, yeah, it looks weird. It kind of gives you an icky
It's
feeling, to
almost
say the least. What
yeah.
was that?
I said it's almost unattractive in a way.
Oh, absolutely. This is like an
When
alien.
it's like perfect, it's like it's unappealing. There's no appeal.
Yeah, no appeal whatsoever. So, but yeah, so that's another thing is most likely it's going to be okay, but you can just overall increase your attractiveness by training each side independently and then also together. And then, of course, just making sure if you're still in the development stages, you're doing the myofunctional therapy. You're doing the things that are going to help promote the proper facial growth, just for
Right.
health reasons, first and foremost, and then secondly, for the aesthetics.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And then the other one that I get asked, and that I don't know really the answer because I'm not quite there yet, but for people who are older, or around the, or like above the age of 25 even, or around like their mid to late 20s, how would you say would be like the most like beneficial way they could transform, because like transform their face and their look and everything, because I know that the bone sutures, they don't fully fuse until you're around 25. So
Mm.
for people who are already there or even older than that age, is there a way that they could still like completely change their look?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I think anyone can drastically change their look regardless of age, past the age of 25 or before the age of 25. I don't think that matters in a very significant way just by doing a few things. One of them, getting their diet right, first and foremost, right? And two, getting their body right, adding muscle mass in their body, decreasing body fat. And same thing for the face, increasing muscle mass in the face, decreasing body fat in the face. You do those two things, and then number three would just be overall some of your basics when it comes to looks maxing, the proper mewing, proper tongue posture, myofunctional therapy, all of the things that are building better habits. Be obviously getting your hygiene down and removing all of the chemical-filled hygienic products and replacing those
Right.
with natural ones. I would say just those few things can drastically change someone's appearance in 90 days, as long as
Yeah.
they stay consistent. As far as altering, yeah, facial structure, facial features, that is where it gets a little bit more challenging to do after, like you said, that age. I think it's still possible. It just takes longer. It's going to take longer than 90 days for them to see the same amount of
Okay.
changes
Right.
as maybe you would, right? As far as in the development stage. I think it's still possible. It's just going to be harder. So
Right.
if you're willing to put in the work and the effort to do it, do the thumb pulling, do all of these different methods, you can still see results. It's just going to take you much longer because, like you said, a lot of those things have fused together. It's a lot more stronger. It's going to take a lot more resistance and time to make that happen.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
So
Yep.
hopefully that was a good answer for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now I'll be able to basically lay it out for people if they ask me. So,
Oh, perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be that. That's where people just want reassurance, right? Is really what it is.
Right.
Because the last thing people want to do is spend all this time and effort towards something that they're not going to get the benefit that maybe they expected. So I think it's good to set those expectations that are reasonable and realistic. Hey, it's going to take you longer. You can still see progress, but great news, you can make a significant change without changing the actual bones of your face by just
Very
getting your
true.
body right. Yeah, getting your diet right, and then implementing some of the very basics when it comes to biohacking.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man. Well, I think I don't even have a name for this podcast yet, but regardless, it's about to be the fastest growing podcast.
Let's
Um,
go.
fastest growing. I always hear that every time I hear a different podcast. They're always talking about how they're the fastest growing. I'm like,
The
how
fastest
is
growing.
everybody the fastest? What's going
Yeah,
on?
all the fastest. Everyone is.
But I can say with conviction that we are the fastest growing biohacking community because that is
100%.
statistically correct. That is statistically accurate.
Massive.
Uh,
Yeah,
as far as
massive.
yeah, massive. It's massive.
Massive.
And then yeah, the podcast though. I'm just speaking that into existence. That's all that is. Is that we will be the fastest growing podcast very soon. And I'm excited that you got to be a part of it, Micah, and appreciate your time, man. It's been great talking to you,
100%.
getting to know you. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm excited to continue to be on this journey right alongside you, bro.
Yeah, hey, and I'm happy to be here, man. I'm thankful to you for all the help you've given me. Yeah, and just for like all the great community you've made and for all just all the information you provide. So, yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Absolutely. I appreciate you, bro. We'll definitely need to talk again soon, but in the meantime, just let me know if you need anything, and we'll chat
100%.
later.
Yeah. Good